The night everything changed wasn't loud. There were no sirens, no shattered glass, no screaming matches echoing down city streets. It was quiet. Too quiet. Just me, sitting at the edge of my bed with a cup of coffee going cold in my hands, staring at a stack of papers that didn't belong in my world. Loan agreements, contracts, forged signatures. My name printed in black ink on documents I had never signed. That was the night I learned that betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people you let closest, the ones you believe in, the ones you would bleed for. My name is Emily Carter, and this is the story of how the man I loved stole everything from me, my business, my future, my peace, and how I took it all back. Not with bullets or blades, but with patience sharp enough to cut deeper than any knife. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, in a house that smelled of motor oil and fried chicken. My father was a construction foreman, hands like sandpaper, shoulders that could carry more than any crane. My mother worked part-time at the local grocery store, but full-time keeping 3 kids alive. I was the oldest, which meant responsibility came early. Babysitting, cooking, helping with homework. My parents loved us, but love didn't pay bills. I learned young that if I wanted a better life, I'd have to carve it with my own 2 hands. College was never a guarantee, but I clawed my way there. Scholarships, student loans, long nights waiting tables. By 21, I was studying business administration in Columbus. Exhausted, yes, but proud. That's when I met Mark Rivers. He wasn't a student. He was a few years older, already working in real estate. Dark hair, hazel eyes, the kind of smile that made people believe him before he even spoke. He had that magnetic energy, like the world bent a little when he walked into a room. I should have been cautious. Instead, I was captivated. He took me to dinners I couldn't afford, drove me around in cars that smelled like leather and power, sent flowers to my dorm room just because. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't carrying the weight of survival alone. By the time I graduated, we were inseparable. He asked me to move in with him into a downtown apartment with glass walls and a view of the skyline. I said yes without hesitation. Life with Mark felt like stepping into a dream. I landed a job at a marketing firm. He expanded his real estate connections. And together we started sketching out something bigger, our own company. His charisma, my business acumen, it seemed like the perfect combination. Within 2 years, we launched Carter & Rivers Consulting, specializing in property development and marketing strategies. Clients lined up. Money followed, we bought a bigger apartment. Vacations, designer clothes, rooftop parties. Success came fast, and with it, the illusion that nothing could go wrong. But cracks always start small. Late nights at the office. Phone calls he stepped outside to take. Business trips that didn't match the emails I saw. When I asked, he smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "Expansion's messy, Em. You have to trust me." And I did. God help me, I did. The truth came in a plain envelope. I had stopped by our office one Tuesday morning when a courier dropped a package on my desk. Inside was paperwork from a bank I didn't recognize. Loan agreements totaling hundreds of thousands. My name forged in perfect cursive. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. But it wasn't. Mark had been borrowing money against our company, siphoning funds into accounts I'd never seen, gambling with our future while I slept next to him at night. When I confronted him, his calmness gutted me more than the betrayal itself. "Relax, Em, everyone does it. This is how business works. I'm doing it for us, but he wasn't doing it for us. He was doing it for him, for his hunger, his ego, his addiction to being untouchable." Within months, it all collapsed. Clients pulled out. Suppliers demanded payment. Collectors called at all hours. One morning, I walked up to our office to find the locks changed and a foreclosure notice taped to the glass. Carter & Rivers Consulting was gone. So was the man I thought I knew. People assume revenge starts with rage. But that's not true. Rage burns too fast. It blinds you. Revenge starts with silence. I didn't go to the police. Mark had allies, investors, bankers, people who didn't play clean and wouldn't let their money vanish without blood. If I exposed him, I'd be the one caught in the crossfire. So I stayed quiet. Outwardly, at least, but inside I sharpened myself. Nights spent tracing wire transfers. Days copying documents. I built a digital vault of everything Mark had done. Forged contracts, hidden accounts, false invoices, and all the while, I smiled at him. I pretended to be broken, defeated, too weak to fight back. I let him believe his own story, that I was a casualty of his genius. But I wasn't a casualty. I was a storm gathering strength. Mark's weaknesses weren't hard to find. I'd lived beside them for years. He craved attention. He loved expensive women, expensive liquor, expensive lies. And above all, he believed he was invincible. So I built my plan around those flaws. First, I became a whisper. Anonymous tips to journalists. Quiet nudges to suppliers. Small inconsistencies planted in the right places. I didn't accuse him outright. I didn't have to. I just let curiosity bloom. Next, I created chaos inside his world. Shipments rerouted. Meetings rescheduled. Vendors pulled away. I orchestrated just enough confusion to make him lash out. His temper did the rest, alienating people who once adored him. Finally, the evidence. Every file, every transfer, every forged signature compiled into one airtight package. But I didn't give it to the police. I gave it to the very investors he had stolen from, men who didn't believe in courtrooms. Men who believed in debts being settled the old-fashioned way. The last time I saw Mark, it was raining. He stumbled out of a downtown bar, suit jacket hanging loose, tie undone, that famous smile cracked at the edges. He saw me standing under the awning and froze. He slurred, "You don't want to do this?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't scream. I just handed him an envelope. Inside was a flash drive. Every crime, every lie, already shared with the people he feared most. "This isn't about what I want," I said. "It's about balance. And balance always finds a way." For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. A week later, he vanished. Some said he ran south with a fake passport. Others whispered his body washed up where no cameras would ever find it. Me? I didn't care. Because revenge isn't about knowing where your enemy ends up. It's about making sure they'll never climb high enough to hurt you again. Part 7. Aftermath. Did it fix me? No. People like to think revenge is a cure, that it erases the scars. It doesn't. The nights are still long. The silence still heavy. Trust, once shattered, never truly comes back. But revenge gave me balance. It leveled the scales. And sometimes balance is the only thing that keeps you moving forward. I live smaller now. I take marketing contracts on my own. I cook dinner in a kitchen that actually feels like mine. I don't chase skyscrapers or million-dollar deals anymore. But when I look out at the skyline, I remember the lesson Mark Rivers carved into my bones. Trust is fragile. And once it breaks, there's no repairing it. There's only payback.